Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Optional Forex, where I'll be sharing with you my findings about different indicators, and hopefully, we can actually discover something useful out of them. Yep. So, for this week, last week I actually shared with the what is it called? Pattern recognition, master pattern recognition, something along that line. This week is actually still the same indicator, but just that it's using the different parameters. Yeah. So last week we are actually what the settings was with shooting star and hammer. Yep, that it is the shooting star and bullish hammer. So this week actually the testing was done. There was a bit of a mistake on my part. Yeah, I was supposed to test the dark cloud cover and the piercing line pattern. Instead, I went and actually test the engulfing pattern. Yeah, bearish engulfing and bullish engulfing pattern. Yeah. So I guess it's due to my bias that because normally I only trade shooting star, which is known to me as a high test, low test bar, and the bullish and bearish engulfing pattern. Yeah. So I guess at the back of my head, I was really keen to find out how the pattern fare against the shooting star. Yeah. So between these two, I still have to admit that the shooting star and bullish hammer are my favorite pattern to trade. It is actually not the engulfing pattern. The engulfing pattern is actually the secondary pattern which I switch to in the event that a shooting star does not appear. Yeah. So now one thing I have to clarify is that when I was doing the testing for the engulfing pattern, this is not the usual engulfing bar that most people would be accustomed to trading. Yeah. So this surprisingly, yeah, it was actually a very surprising thought that for actual student, you'll be more familiar with the term is that this is actually an engulfing body method. Yeah, engulfing body. It is not a standard bearish or bullish engulfing bar. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know what I meant is that, look, so if this is a body, bing, yeah, so long as the presiding bar, let's make this a colored one, just engulfs the body, but not the high and low, then this particular indicator recognizes it as a engulfing pattern. Yeah. But what I understand is online, or whether most courses, what they teach, this would actually be a proper engulfing bar. Yeah. So an engulfing body can be a standard engulfing bar, but a standard engulfing, an engulfing body sometimes may not be a standard engulfing bar. Yeah. But a standard engulfing bar will definitely be an engulfing body. Yeah, so if that makes sense to you. So what I mean is that, let's say, yeah, these two. So you can see this particular indicator actually picks up both as a valid bearish engulfing bar and bullish engulfing bar. Because just look at the bearish one. As long as the body engulfs the previous one, this particular indicator actually picks it up. Yeah, so same for this. This will be a bullish engulfing bar because it just engulfs the body, but it does not actually went above the high of the previous bar. Yeah, so this is one thing that I have to be very clear. Yeah, so for those of you who actually downloads this pattern recognition indicator, this is one thing that you need to realize. Yeah, so if you are actually looking to trade the standard engulfing bar, then this particular indicator actually gives a lot of so-called false signal. Yeah, so just to be clear, that's my disclaimer. All right, so with that, without further ado, I realized last week when I was going ahead with showing the results of this indicator, I did not actually, I think there was some news. Yeah, I had some new viewers who wasn't sure with the methodology of how I actually go ahead and test it. Yeah, so I just go through one pair just to show you. Yeah, so I use a different uh, trend indicator. Yeah, sometimes I use the EMA, sometimes I use super trend. So this time around, I decided to stick with half trend. Yeah, yeah. For my future show, I think I should just stick with one. Yeah, that would be actually better for all. But anyway, in essence, I actually did two set of testing. Yeah, usually I only do one set of testing. So the first set is with trend. as a trend filter, a trend indicator as a trend filter, and the other set I wasn't using a trend filter. And I have a very, very surprising verdict. Yeah, the result actually surprised me quite a fair bit. It kind of caught me off guard. Yeah, so I'll be sharing with you in a short while. So just to go through with you all. So as long as I have a trend filter and there's a bullish engulfing bar for when it appears at the blue line, I'll be taking that trade. If I have a bearish engulfing bar when it appears at a red line, then I'll be taking that short trade. Yeah, so it's a very simple way of testing. So I just take it from here. So you can see, let me blow it up. As long as there's a bullish body and the indicator picks it up, it will be a market entry with stop loss at the bottom of the bar. So as per the previous testing, as long as price hits the stop loss, I'll count it as a loss. Yeah. In the event that price did not hit stop loss and actually rallies up all the way up, then I have two sets of data. One is pure take profit all at 2R, and the other is take profit at 4R. Yeah, so that's the very simple testing mechanism. Let me see if I can find a winning trades. That's about it. So you can see that I have a bearish trend as indicated by the half trend filter, bearish engulfing bar. So this would be a valid entry. You see a yellow dot above, and it will have hit the 4R. So I'll count this as a win under the 4R side, and also a win under the 2R side. Yeah, there are times whereby the take profit actually hits the 2R and not the 4R. Possibly with this bar. There you can see. So if this is market entry stop loss above, price definitely will hit the 2R, but it didn't hit the 4R. Then in that case, I will count this as a win for 2R and a loss for the 4R. Yeah, so eventually that's why you will see two different set of data. Now I'm a huge believer of letting the trade run. As long as the system is thoroughly tested and over a period of time, of course with really robust test sample, and over a period of time, as long as it makes money, letting trades run I think is a rather stress-free way of trading. Yeah, of course the most of the time the only portion that interferes with us in trading this method is our own psychology. Yeah, that ultimately points out to greed and fear. Yeah, I shall not touch on them tonight. Now, so with all in all, again, this will be the same indicators as 2 weeks back as what I've shared. So I think I have to trouble you to paste the link in there. So for those of you who actually didn't attend last week, I'll just run through again. Last week, the shooting star actually gave me really fantastic results. So you can see that under the 2R wins, we $10 for $20. Stop loss, we're losing $10. A total out of for each pair, I only took 20 trades, right? So I got about 12 pairs here out of 240 trade sample. It still returns me with a 72% winner. This is based on the daily chart. Again, market entry, stop loss at high or low of bar. Yeah, that's a daily time frame. Yeah, so if it is going with 4R, that's the shooting star from last week. With the same period, all right. So this across the board, these are the same trades taken. The one that aims for 4R actually doubled the winners, right? Actually doubled, which is good, fantastic. Bear in mind, these are the win rates, which is what most people would not actually accept. So again, via testing, I can prove that a low win rate is actually still can still be a profitable system. Yeah. Now again, the second set of data, which is this, please take note, this is without a trend filter. This is with a trend filter. The left hand side is with a trend filter, the right hand side is without trend filter. So without trend filter, does the shooting star pattern still works out? It still does, right? So because I don't have a trend filter, naturally I have more trades. So the number of tests, I've doubled it times 2, right? So I have 240 trades with those for the trend filters. Over here, it's actually 480 trades. Yeah. So instead of taking 20 trades per pair, I took 40 trades per pair. The results wasn't fantastic. Okay. So without a trend filter, actually the shooting star pattern for a 2R, it was a loser. I'm down by 100%. Yeah. Overall, it was down by 102 over a sample period of sample trades of 480 trades. Yeah, I'm down by Oh, it's actually not 480, 600. Yeah. So I'm still down. Now, surprisingly, the shooting star is actually up by 15%. Against so over 600 trades, up by 15%. It's not fantastic by any measure. It is not. Alright, so I wouldn't actually trade a hammer or shooting star pattern without a trend filter. This is what testing tells me. Yeah. Of course, if anybody is interested, please expand on the testing. Yeah. If I'm really interested, personally, if I'm really interested in something, I would test across all 28 or 29 pairs. Yeah. At least get a reasonable amount of sample size. Yeah. When I say reasonable, I pack it at about 100. Right. So that's shooting stars. That's last week. So a shooting star hammer with a trend filter is definitely tradable. Go ahead, trade it. It's 100% tradable. Yeah, I would jump in at any time. Of course, if you are not using half trend, which I did not share, yeah, but I'm sure you can use other trend filters to actually test it out. EMA would be good, super trend would be good, or any other that you have in your arsenal. Let's go ahead and try it out. Should be fun, right? Now, this week, the result is actually done on engulfing bar. And this is what actually took me by surprise a lot. Okay, so I tested engulfing pattern, trend on the left side, no trend on the right side. Results aren't fantastic at all. Now, if you think that 41%, 30% is a low win rate, engulfing bar on its own, ultimately, I still end up with winners. Not a lot. Yeah, I can't actually say more about it. I'm quite disappointed. Shooting star is up by 72% for a 2-hour win, and the engulfing bar is only up by 24% for a 2-hour win. That's quite little. Yeah, over 300 trades. So over 300 trades for a 4-hour win, I'm only up by 46%. That is quite low. So now at this point, I can only suspect one of two things. Is that first thing, this particular trend filter isn't actually good for a engulfing body pattern. Yeah. The same for last week. One thing I have to emphasize is for a half trend filter, alright? Half trend filter, it usually, just by the look of it, okay, just have a look at this trend filter, is that it does not allow deep retracement. The moment there's a deep retracement, the trend filter actually changed color already. Yeah. So this could be the reason why an engulfing pattern does not work with this particular trend filter. It could be the reason. But again, without further testing, I can't say for sure. There's only suspicion. Then, now, what really took me by surprise is that without trend filter, just look at the win rate. It's actually quite negligible, right? So for 2R, I have a 33.5%. With a trend filter, it's only 36%. It's actually quite negligible. Yeah. So ends up, what happens is that without trend filter, the 4R win is actually up by 80%. It's actually more than the one with trend filter. That is what took me by surprise. So there is one conclusion I can draw here is that with regards to this indicator, if you are interested in trading reversal, don't trade off a shooting star pattern with this indicator. If you are interested in trading a reversal pattern, an engulfing body actually works way better than a shooting star pattern. That's the only conclusion I can draw. That's all. You see, I can't draw any other conclusion because if you look at the one without trend filter, the results are actually not bad. I would say. The results are, this result is actually very much comparable to shooting star pattern with a trend filter. It's very, very comparable. Yeah, of course, the number of trade, the trade sample size are different. I have 600 trades for this. I have only 300 trades for this. Yeah, so I cannot be saying that I compare apple to apple. There's something definitely not true. Yeah, but this is something I'm definitely not expecting. I would expect this to outperform. Maybe not by a lot compared to the one without trend filter. I would definitely expect this to outperform, but this is just simply disastrous. Yeah. So once again, backtesting actually gives me some unique insight. Yeah, may not be true for the actual engulfing bar. This may not be true. Yeah, but let's us just talk about indicator, facts, data, statistics. So for those of you who are actually interested in trading reversals, this may actually give you some indication that engulfing body as a reversal pattern actually works better than a test bar. Blindly speaking, unless I add more other requirements into it, like horizontal level or trend line, then the results again might turn out different. But unless I can test those with a fixed data, it's very hard to draw a conclusion on that. Yeah, so this is the only thing that I can share with you. Yeah, simply surprising. I didn't expect this result at all. So for those of you who are actually price action trader, if you find this particular indicator is useful for you, this is something that you must take note between the test bar and engulfing body. So personally, the second conclusion that I can draw is that I won't be trading engulfing body with a trend filter for this indicator. Yes, I'll be trading a shooting star, not an engulfing body. I mean, simply out of 300 trades, I only get a 46% winner. Gosh, I can't live with that. I really can't. Yeah. So it is something that I don't advise you to do unless when you backtest, the trend filter that you use actually allows for deeper retracement. Then yes, by that regard, possibly the results between you and I will be very different. Yeah, so this is actually, I realized I didn't share my screen properly just now. Yeah, so when I say a deeper retracement, you can look at this indicator. It doesn't allow a deep retracement. It doesn't allow. So it actually changes color at that. So again, same for here. Yep, so that's all I can share with you. If you have any question, feel free to pop it in. I'll try my best to answer. Yeah, but in terms of hard facts data, we all should actually more or less come to the same conclusion. Unless you have spotted something different, then I'll be very keen to hear your opinion. Yeah, but this is the fun of testing. Just gives you very, very different idea into trades. Yeah. So for next week, for the upcoming week, right? I'll be testing the Doji Star and the dark cloud pattern. Personally, I have never traded a dark cloud pattern or a piercing line pattern. But what are these two? So basically, a dark cloud pattern is, so let's say this is a bearish bar, right? So a dark cloud pattern is actually a gap down and a bullish, that's a piercing line. Yeah, so that means there must be a gap. Then a piercing line or a dark cloud pattern will actually appear. Yeah, so I'm interested in that. And from my initial looking at the indicator, I've never traded a pattern before. I've actually drawn some interesting conclusions. Yeah, the majors and minors actually don't have a lot of dark cloud or piercing line patterns. The exotics like USD, SGD, that's an exotic, actually have more gaps. Yeah, especially the first bar after the weekend, they will definitely have more gaps. Yeah, so I will see whether we can draw any interesting trade ideas from there. Yeah. So one of the trade ideas that which I've drawn because I was in trading buddy for earlier this for the August. Yeah, I noticed something about USD SGD, and I think it's really interesting. Yeah, I will actually further develop on that. If I have the time, definitely I'll share with you all. If I do not have, then oh well, watch today's episode of Trading Buddy. I'm sure it's being uploaded. All right, so let me see if any questions. John, this is not the correct platform to ask about a strategy related question. Keep it to during the mentorship session. Yeah. Now, for those who for people who are online, not ATW students, I myself I teach different strategies. Then well, some of the students are asking about my personal strategy. Now, for those of you who have learned my strategy, I will give you a tip. This particular indicator actually works with my strategy. It does. This was a this was a bliss when I found out. This was a blissful finding for me. As to how it works, just take a bit of testing. You will actually find very, very favorable results. Right, go ahead, please do a testing. Otherwise, if you don't want to do testing, then just trade the way I teach you. You'll still make money at that. All right, so I'll see you 2 weeks later. Till then, have a good trading week. Goodbye.